Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Now, I have a end of year declutter video coming right at you because I was like, let me go through my makeup, let me see what I'm not using and see what I can get rid of, because to be honest, I love doing declutters at the end of the year just because it kind of makes room for like next year's products, and I love it. And my makeup collection actually looks really nice. I'll insert a little clip on the screen on how it's organized. I am very happy with how it looks. It's in a really good spot. Now I will say I do have a lot of makeup, guys, a lot more than the average person, but you know, this is part of my job. I'm a makeup enthusiast and I just wanted to say that out there. Now, in case you're wondering about all the products that I have decluttered, I'm gonna let family and friends pick through it, see what they want. Any lip products I do not share, I do toss because you know, that's unsanitary. But face products and things like that, it's a little bit different than the lippies, because like using a gloss, putting it on your lips and then putting it back in there, it's like germ city. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go through the products I decluttered, why I decluttered them. Some of these products I did declutter because it's old and I really didn't want to, but I was like, okay, I've had this since like 2021 and it's not safe to put on the face anymore. So yeah, we're gonna dive into it. Grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's get into it. These two right here, the Colourpop cream blushes. These have a natural matte finish. Now I had really high hopes for these, but these are very dry. And I don't feel like you should have to work that hard to get a product to show up on the skin, especially one like this. Like looking at the shade, you would think that this shade would be perfect for my skin tone, but it's very sheer. Very sheer. Like, I don't know if you can see in the pan, look at how dry it is. But you really have to like work it in. So imagine putting a brush in here. Like it's just a lot. And then when you swatch it, look at that. That's the payoff that you get, which for some people I feel like you might prefer. You might prefer something a little bit more buildable, but buildable, sheer, and dry just does not mix for me. I just feel like all three of those are just not cool because I have to like really tap my brush in here, and when I apply it onto the face, it picks up my foundation. So I'm not a fan. Now this shade performs a little bit better, but it still is dry. I don't know, I just kind of wish that I just wish that they kind of did something a little bit different with this formula. It was definitely time for this to go. I was not using it because of how hard it was to work with. And honestly, it was just a little bit of a letdown. I decided to let go of these three Moira blush shades. I found that I really was not reaching for these, and the formula is just a lot more dewier than I would prefer. And because of that dewiness, sometimes it kind of would go on patchy. It just wasn't a formula I was reaching for anymore. When I first got my hands on these, I love these. And now I don't reach for those blushes over others in my collection. I'm also getting rid of, these are the Rim Beauty stick blushes. Honestly, these are a lip and cheek product, which makes a lot of sense. I do tend to stay away from lip and cheek products just because the way that they formulate these kind of products is for it to work in two different areas of the face. And the pigmentation on these is really nice, but they have the texture of a lipstick, which is the sad part about it. And it's just not my favorite finish on the face. So I was not reaching for these, and I was like, you know what, Tati, why are you holding on to them? Let it go. Now this blush I did not want to let go of. This is the ABH cream blush in the shade Peach Caramel. And I'm letting this one go because I got this, I think, in 2020. Yes, so it's old and it just wasn't sitting right with me knowing how old this particular product is, and it is a cream blush. I do feel like it still performs really beautifully and really well, and I really do love this for an everyday blush, but I was like, okay girl, it's old. Time to get rid of this one. So this one was like against my will, but yeah. I was like, let it go, let it go. I also decluttered this blush from Tarte. This is their Breezy Cream Blush. Now, I actually got this not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. And it was on sale at Sephora. I don't think they sell this blush anymore, but I kind of think I know why. Because it is, as you can see in the pan, it's very dry, which kind of reminds me of Colourpop, except it's a little bit creamier when you put when you rub your finger in it, it does feel creamier to the touch. On the face, it does not blend out very, very well. So, oh, it's such a pretty color. Like, it's such a pretty color. I was like, let me let that go. I am decluttering this right here from Danessa Myricks. This is the Power bronzer in the shade Deep. Now, the only reason why I'm decluttering this is because it is very old. You can just kind of tell. You can kind of tell in the pan it's not the best. It kind of like breaks up when I put my brush in. So the next chance that I get, I will repurchase this because I do like this formula. And it's a really, really nice cream bronzer kind of formula as well. It's just very thick and very dry. Now, I don't remember the product being like this when I first got it, but it's like clumpy. Same thing with oldness. These two products are very, very old. I've had them for years. It's time to let it go. The One Size Secured the Blur primer, I'm actually kind of almost out of this, so I don't really feel too bad about decluttering this, but this is older, and I do like this if you have oily skin and you love to blur out the skin. This is a really good primer to have. I will be repurchasing that. My Milk Hydro Grip, I don't know why it's so hard for me to finish these before they expire. Like, there's just so much product in here, and I do feel like this is one of those primers to where it spreads out a lot. Like, the littlest amount spreads out a lot all over the face, but I cannot remember the last time I purchased this, which is not good. It's not good, I'll tell you that. So I'm letting this one go. I don't feel too bad about it because I do have the e.l.f. Power Grip primers that I really, really love. So, you know, it's okay to let this one go. All right, let's talk about a couple of powders that I've decided to part ways with. First one being this Uoma Beauty powder in the shade Rich Tan. This powder shade is a little bit too deep for what I like to do with it, so I am letting this go. Milakni Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Powder. Really liked it when I first tried it, but depending on the concealer that you use, it does alter the shade of your concealer. It does make it a lot darker. It doesn't do that with certain concealer shades that I use, but majority of them it does. So I was like, I don't really like that. I went in with a brightening concealer because I want to brighten, but this powder just made it darker. So I'm like, not a fan of that. Also letting go of this Rare Beauty setting powder in the shade Medium Deep. I think this year, I don't know, I always felt like when I buy a new setting powder or I buy a setting powder that I like, I have to get like a brightening shade and a shade for all over the face. But now I've realized how to make my brightening shade work all over my face, if that makes sense. I don't really have a reason to keep deeper colored setting powders in my collection anymore because I don't ever reach for them. This one also kind of has like a little bit of radiance to it, and I'm not the biggest fan of radiant setting powders. So I'm gonna let this go, but I really do hope that Rare Beauty comes out with brightening under the eye type setting powders, because this one is much more for like all over the face. Lastly, the Makeup Forever setting powder. I used to love this setting powder, but now that I've like tried other setting powders like my Ami Colé, my Lunar Beauty, my Dominique Cosmetics, I cannot not use any other setting powder. So when I do eventually use this setting powder, I don't like how my makeup looks. It's not as blurring as those other setting powders that I love in my collection are. And it's a lot thicker, which is weird. It's not as finely milled as I would like and prefer in my setting powders now. So that is why I'm letting that one go. I am letting go of these Alamar Cosmetics products, which makes me really, really sad. But honestly, I don't reach for these in my collection at all anymore. I used to love all three of these, but this blush has been in a lot of declutters. In my last declutter video, I talked about this blush, but I haven't even used it since. So I'm gonna give this away to someone who would much prefer that and cherish it in their collection. This is a blush highlighter, which I don't really use very often. So another product that no sense in keeping. And then this highlighter, the La Playa highlighter, don't really reach for this one over others. I like a more finely milled, wet finish kind of highlighter, and this one is not really like that, but it was such a, I loved this one. Oh, no, I'm not keeping it, Tati. I'm not keeping it. Look at that, it's still pretty, but I really don't reach for it, so I'm just gonna let it go. I'm letting go of these two foundations. Both of them are not my shades. Too Faced did send me the Born This Way Healthy Glow in PR, and I got a couple of shades. I never used this one, but it's just been sitting in my foundation drawer. It is a lot deeper. I give this away to someone who, you know, it would match a lot better than me. And this one is from Uoma Beauty. The only reason why I'm getting rid of this one is because it's too light for me. So no sense in keeping that. I'm getting rid of these Jaclyn Hill highlighters. These three are the putty highlighters. I don't use them ever. Don't use them ever. So I'm just gonna get rid of all of these. They kind of remind me of the Colourpop Super Shock shadow highlighters. And I like this at a time, but now my makeup style, my preferences have really changed. So I haven't really reached for these. I'm also getting rid of this highlighter from Jaclyn Cosmetics in the shade Awestruck. So a little bit too light for me, don't really reach for it. I'm getting rid of these two eyeshadow palettes from Moira Cosmetics. This is the Fun is in the Air palette. Very pastel-like, really cute, but I don't really reach for this one. This one is called the Magic Dreaming palette. This shade is beautiful. This is probably the only reason why I would keep this palette, but that does not make any sense. So I might see if my mom wants these. Let's get into some lippies I decluttered. I decluttered a lot of lippies. These Juvia's Place lip oils, I really had high hopes for these, but they're a very, very, very thin lip oil formula. And I just feel like this is just one of those formulas where they don't really do anything to the lips. They almost just feel like nothing. Like they're just very, very thin. They just kind of feel like grease. And I'm not a fan of these. They smell good, but like they don't really do anything for me. They're just very, very greasy. I am decluttering this Fenty cream gloss in the shade Bubble Binge. Very bright pink. I don't really reach for this. Oh, it's kind of cute, but no, I don't reach for this at all. I'm just gonna let that one go. So decluttered some of the Estate Cosmetics lipstick shades that I know I wouldn't use. I'm definitely gonna give these to my mom. I got the whole range of the Kylie Cosmetics lipsticks in PR. So these shades right here, I'm going to just give away to my mom because she loves colors like this. I am decluttering my Item Beauty lip oils. They don't sell these anymore, but I loved these lip oils. I just think they're old now. These were really, really good. I wish that she had brought these back. Also decluttering this Morphe Sour Patch Kids gloss. Oh, this smells delicious. Oh, it smells so good. But the Morphe lip glosses really are not a favorite. I feel like the glosses that are on the market now are really, really good, but the Morphe ones, I'm just like, These Juvia's Place lipsticks, because they are old and some of them are starting to smell. I got these, I believe, in 2020 when they first came out. I think it was 2020. But I was like, ooh, girl, old, time to let it go. Time to let it go. This MAC lipstick in the shade Velvet Teddy. Also decluttering this Kylie Butter Balm in this shade because once again, very bright pink. Not a fan. It's in the shade called That's Tea. A lot of these lippies that I decluttered are because they aren't really like my kind of shade. I do give lip products to my mom. She doesn't really care as long as they're like not expired, of course. I did declutter both of these Merit lipsticks. This lipstick formula is not my favorite formula. I don't know if it's these shades or what, but I don't find myself reaching for these. I am letting these go. Lastly, I am letting go of the Sigma lip oil in the shade All Heart. Really pretty lip formula, but it is kind of old and it's starting to smell. I don't know if it's like lip oils like smell faster or what, but I don't know if it's like the ingredients in it or what, but it is starting to smell. So that is everything that I have decided to declutter. I don't know, I feel like for me that was a lot. I feel like that's a lot of products for me, but I know in reality it's not that much compared to what I actually still have left in my collection, but a win is a win, okay? This is a lot for me. It's so weird seeing some products here that I never thought that I would declutter, but you know, my makeup preference has definitely changed and the products I go for has definitely changed. I'm not looking at it as a bad thing. I'm thinking of it like, okay, I'm just growing from certain products, you know, and certain things, but like some of these products I am repurchasing, okay? But majority of them are just like because it's just not what I go for now. But I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.